Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 121, the Fairies Wear Boots episode. Joining me as always, an old geezer from a reclining sofa. Sit in that one for a second, Chris.
What the hell's a sofa?
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened there. It was just atrocious was what it was. Tonight we're actually going to do the fairy episode. Richard's favorite cryptid in his neck of the woods.
He's all in on fairies.
He loves the fairy. Loves them.
Being sarcastic, but
Hey, it's recorded on air. You're fucked.
was being sarcastic.
No, I don't believe so.
You can't
Just
backpedal.
want to point that
No,
out.
you can't backpedal now because that makes you a flip-flopper.
I'm not flip-flopping. I was being sarcastic.
Which, by the way, should be completely okay. I have never understood this. Flip-flopping is a bad thing. Like somehow that by getting information and changing your opinion on something could be a horrible and awful thing.
Well, that's not the definition of flip-flopping, though. Flip-flopping is when you change your opinion based on what's going on then for like a personal gain.
But how do you judge that, Steve?
Well, if a politician, for example, says one thing in one speech and something else in a different speech just because he's in front of a different audience, that's flip-flopping.
Or if the FBI say something's illegal and then say they're not going to, it's not anymore, that's flip-flopping.
That is flip-flopping. Sort of.
Maybe. Kinda.
So it can be a bad thing. I don't think changing your opinion on things is a bad thing, though. It just depends on the situation of it.
It makes you weak-willed and unwilling to have the strength to back up your convictions.
I see. So I at least wanted to touch on I don't even know what you'd fucking call this bullshit that's going on.
Natural selection.
The slow degradation of a country, I guess. I don't even know that there are words to describe what's going on. There's protests everywhere. There's fucking people being arrested, people being shot, people being killed, cops being killed, fucking... It's just... And I don't know that it's just a spotlight is being shown on it a lot more. I mean, what happened in Dallas was fucking crazy.
That was fucked up, is what that was.
And that's blatantly obvious. But everything is under the microscope right now, and it's incited a lot of anger. And there are people out there pissed. So I don't know. I think it's a problem on both sides. I think we overreact in this country to a lot of shit. We are the country of fucking overreaction. Look at our presidential elections. We go from one extreme to the other. Oh, this guy fucked up? Let's go way the fuck over here. It is so indicative of who we are as a nation. It's just, and I don't. It disgusts me.
I think the problem is worse now. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, there's a lot of fucking shit going down right now. But I think the problem's worse because of our ability to communicate things quickly. with the internet and stuff. So social media, I think, has a lot to do with it, and the way the media itself plays up these events.
Well,
So
that woman streamed basically the death of, or the aftermath of the shooting of Philando Castile right onto Facebook. That was live when it happened.
well, the thing is, most of the shit that I see on Facebook, I immediately dismiss because it's pretty easy to tell that, okay, this person's just overreacting, and a lot of these cops killing people shit is mostly bullshit. Now, a lot of the times, I mean, you and I discussed it earlier this week. There's some bad fucking cops out there. Hotheads, I think you called them.
And there are bad people out there.
Right.
That the cops have to deal with, and I get that. I totally get that. I in no way advocate violence on either fucking side. Both sides, there's a problem everywhere. Like I said, there's bad people, and there's bad cops, because cops are people.
I don't know that the cops today are any worse than the cops of 40 years ago. I just think we see it on a daily basis. I mean, my Facebook is filled with this cop beat this kid, or this cop shot this guy, or whatever. And once in a while you see a good cop video, but generally, I mean, we thrive on
the
violence
shit.
And shit.
We
thrive on that shit.
We thrive on dirty laundry.
So because of social media and because the way everything goes on nowadays, we see a lot more of it. And most people could care less if it's true or not, because they don't care to look into it. They'll believe whatever they see, And most people nowadays get their news from fucking Facebook. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Well, or from social media sites.
Right. I'm not blaming Facebook. I think Facebook is one of the best inventions ever. I mean, I love it. I'm on it all the fucking time. But
great, isn't it? It's a surveillance device people want to use.
The thing is, I think because of social media and because of, I mean, even with the school shootings of a few years back, and how there was big shit made of that. I mean, we're in a culture now where this stuff happens all the time, even if it's only happening the same amount as it ever did.
Well,
but we see it.
What I think is happening a lot more now is there is this inherent fear on both sides. The police force is afraid, and they go into these situations expecting because that's the nature of the beast. You no longer today. You don't have these cops that were parts of their communities, or knew the people and knew what was going on. They got in there, and I don't want to say like walking the beat, because they don't necessarily have to walk a beat. Just be out there and communicating with the public. But they're not allowed to really do that anymore.
Well, I have to say, where I live, and I talked about this with you, they're pretty decent guys as far as I can tell. I mean, I've had a little bit of interaction with them with my son. He was having some trouble with another kid, and they treated that kid fair, and they treated my boy fair, And the cops around here know, they've been here. They grew up in this town. They don't import them from another place. They most of them grew up here. So if you have that, you have a whole different situation. When you got cops in the city, where they're getting them from wherever, I know the state cops in Pennsylvania, at least, you're appointed to a place. You're not where you want to go. You're appointed. It's like baseball, you're drafted,
right.
That kind of thing. So in those situations, it gets a little harder because you don't know those people. And so you're disconnected, just like you said. I mean, I shot the guy. I mean, come on. I mean, it's not the same, I don't know.
And there was, listen, if anyone who's seen that fucking Philando Castile video, and I'm pretty sure just about everybody fucking has at this point.
I
That thing
didn't.
is fucking everywhere. You can tell that the cop is severely traumatized by what's happened. Like, he is freaking the fuck out.
So what did the video show? What was supposedly supposed to happen, and what did the video show? Because I haven't watched it.
Well, from I've watched it. It starts after the fact. Like, you do not see what happens when the guy gets shot.
Okay.
So that's where all of the speculation is right now. But according to the woman taking the video, they were asked to get their IDs. He announced that he, had a firearm. And I don't know if the fact that he was licensed to carry was that was made apparent, or if it was, announced. I don't know. According to her, it was, I believe. And when he reached in his pocket to get his ID, that's when the cop shot him, I guess. From what I gather from what was said on the video.
What's the cop side of the story, or haven't we heard that yet?
I haven't really looked into it. The whole time in the video he's just saying fuck. I mean, he's losing it.
The cop.
Yeah, he's just, like I said, he's freaking the fuck out.
Did it look like he realized he made a mistake, or that he thought he was going to get shot?
It just, I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. It just looks like a guy who was freaking, I mean, you can't really see him because she's keeping the camera inside the vehicle, and you can see his gun is still drawn and pointed.
Right.
But hey, it's
Most police have like dash cams, and they're wired for sound nowadays. Is there any of that, or we don't know yet?
I haven't heard or seen anything about any of that. Yeah. So
Anyway,
I couldn't tell you.
So we're getting one side of the story. We don't know what really happened because the video starts after the guy was shot.
Right. I guess more needs to be looked into. But these are the types of things that incite this anger. And
so everybody just takes this woman's word for it because, well, it's on video, And even though not all of it is on video, I'm not saying she's wrong. She could be 100% right. I don't know.
Yeah, so who knows? But that's what's causing, or that's part of what's causing this big uproar, along with the other one. I think it's Alton something, or the guy that was shot while he was on the ground. There's two cops on top of him, and then you got what happened in Dallas where that sniper freaking killed 5 cops. That's,
see, in a heated situation like an arrest situation, or you think this guy's got a gun and he's pulling it out of his pocket and going to shoot you, the emotions are super high, and so things happen, and sometimes mistakes are made, and this could be the case in one of those. But in the sniper situation, you're taking innocent lives. I mean, plain and simple. You're not. It's well planned out. You know what you're doing, and that was your intention, is to kill somebody. Now, I'm sure those cops didn't go to work that day saying, "Hey, I'm going to kill somebody today." That wasn't their intention. The heat of the moment is what made it happen. So, not that it's a forgivable thing. I mean, if they were wrong, they should face the same prosecution as anybody else would in that situation, right? But
all I know,
it's a whole different story.
All I know is it's causing a lot of hate and anger, and it's on both sides. You got people who are vehemently defending the cops,
right?
And there's the other side where it's you get the Black Lives Matter group, and supporters and the like, and it's just too bad. It's too bad that it's happening.
About the Black Lives Matter people. Black lives do matter. They're absolutely 100% right about that. But they're fucking crazy people. Holy fuck! You ever see the videos of those people?
There's
And I'm not
listen.
saying
Turned into the black version of the KKK.
well, it's what it looks like on the surface, and like these police videos, I'm just getting my information on the videos that are available that I can see, and so you don't see the calm, peaceful protests. You see all the bad stuff, but I don't know. But the stuff that I've seen, holy fuck,
Yeah,
you know,
and listen, we've all seen the riots where they're all like fucking looting stores and grabbing TVs and everyone's
because most of those people don't give a fuck about what they're protesting for. They're there for that
looting.
purpose.
right.
Yeah, they're
And
there for that
There's a
purpose.
lot of that, and then there's a lot of people who are saying I'm getting my fucking due, and so on and so forth. And it does happen. And it's what it builds to. And we've seen this before, this fucking riot and bullshit. And it's going to come down to when these freaking cops, if they wind up getting away with it, that's when, or I won't say getting away with it, that's the wrong term. If they wind up being vindicated by the legal system, then all of a sudden, well, they did something wrong, they got away with it. That's the mentality.
It'll be Rodney King all over again.
Right. That's the type of thing we're looking at right now.
And they don't care.
In my mind.
They don't care what the truth is. So if the cops were wrong, and they get put in jail, that's one thing. But if they're vindicated, those people protesting don't care if they were really innocent. That's not what they're after. They're after publicity for their cause, and that's what bothers me the most, because you got, and it happens in every race, religion, you got your leaders who are inciting this stuff. It's not the general population, it's the leadership of the population.
Well, no. You got to look at this one kind of as it happened.
I don't know.
It unfolded on, as far as the Philando Castile thing, it unfolded on Facebook. So therefore, it blew up on a social media site, which technically kind of is the people.
But if you think about it, Chris, all these years, you have people like, and I'm not, this isn't a black white thing, but you have people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton who are fucking idiots, but they claim, or people claim, that they are leaders for black folks. And those guys, I mean, they don't care. Their pocketbook cares what happens, but they don't. I mean, so for years you've had those kind of people in leadership positions, or apparent leadership positions, because I don't know what leadership they are, but people look up to them, and saying things that incite certain feelings and a certain mindset in people. And that's what happens when something like this happens, because it just goes all to fucking hell. And yeah, maybe social media was to blame for this particular one, but the build up to it, all these years,
I know that most black people, most yellow people, most brown people, most white people don't really give a shit about race or anything like that. They just keep their heads down, get on with their life, and just try to enjoy themselves as best they can. But you just have these minority of utter cretins of all race and creed that just ruin it for everyone. And I honestly think that the solution is to just take these people and put them in a gladiator ring, give them some weapons, just kill each other, and then we'll shoot whoever's left. It'd be good TV.
It would be good TV.
And listen, I started this out by saying it's bad people. It's across the board. It's like you said, bad cops, bad people. Now, was this guy that shot Philando Castile a bad cop? I don't know. I'm not making that judgment. I'm just saying that there are bad cops out there.
Well, like you said, you have to have a certain mindset to be in that position in the first place. You don't go into being a cop if you're somebody like me. I'd never make a good cop. You have to have a certain disposition to do that job, an authoritarian type disposition, but you also have to be stern and that kind of thing. So it's a certain type of person that gets that job, and so sometimes
maybe there's a problem with the selection process. Maybe there's a
it could
problem
be.
with how they're choosing these guys and by what criteria. And maybe they're going about things the wrong way. I don't know. But it should be definitely looked at. These things need to be fucking fixed. They need to be investigated and fucking fixed. Yes, I get all these people that want to sit there and say, well, there's a thin blue, I stand with the thin blue line. Blah, 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 blah. It's really? Like, that's the same as, like, standing on one side or another just because you agree with a couple things.
I stand for rightfulness, truth.
Truth.
Yeah. It doesn't matter which side that truth is on. If the people on the cop side are the truthful ones, are the ones that are right, then I'm going to stand on that side. But if the other people are right, I'm going to stand on. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Just stand for what's right. Not for just because this person has the same skin color as I do, so they must be the ones that are right. And that's and a lot of the times it's the cop, the people who are supporting the cop that was in the wrong, are supporting him because their skin color is the same. So because most of the time we hear about these things, it's a white cop shooting a black person, and that's the way it goes.
That's because that's the narrative,
right? So just because the cop is white people want to support the cop, and the person who got shot was black people want to support the person who was shot. If the roles were reversed, it would be the same thing. The black folk would be on the cop side if the cop was black and he shot a white guy.
But you don't hear those stories.
You don't, because they don't want you to know that. I mean, their only motivation is he's the same color as me. He's right. That's it. They don't care about the facts and the truth, and that's why things get blown out of proportion like this.
Well, and there's a lot of that. And like I said, it's something that needs to be seriously looked at in this country, because right now it's a fucking powder keg.
But Go ahead, Richard.
Did I ever tell you my plan to end racism?
Oh, boy.
Yes, I think you have.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
No. Last time you said racism was the only acceptable form of, I don't know, separation. Or something like that. So, no, you haven't told us.
But we're just...
to end racism.
Oh, God.
But it's very simple, right? People want to hate, that's fine, let them hate, but we need to lose this whole racism. And to do that, we need to replace all racial slurs with the word cunt.
Okay.
Don't say, there goes a honky or a cracker or whatever white people are. Say, there goes a cunt. Likewise for black people, don't say, there goes that N-word. Say, there goes that cunt.
There goes that N-word?
N-word.
Oh, N-word.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. You've got a heavy accent of some sort, and I have a hard time with it.
I would have said the word, but I feel like it was going too far.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's something I prefer you not to say.
Right, but don't say that. Just say, there goes that cunt. Then we can lose racism, but keep the hate.
There you go.
Aha.
Why didn't we think of that before?
Yeah, and on that note, we've dragged that out long enough. But I at least wanted to touch on it and talk about it, because it's fucking huge right now. It's everywhere, and I mean, I've had a multitude of talks with people about it, and it's just a definite problem. So, moving along, the fairies of the world, little people.
We go from cops killing people to fairies.
Hey, Fairies,
Stop killing racism to
fairies, according to legend, are pretty mischievous and fuck people over. So
Do they have AK-47s?
they don't need AK-47s, Steve. They have magic.
Have you ever seen A Midsummer's Night Dream, Stephen?
No.
That's if left unchecked.
You cut out.
Luckily,
you cut out, Richard.
Yeah, he cut out. It wasn't important anyway.
what fairies? Oh, you could go fuck yourself. Alcohol. I said that's what fairies do if they go unchecked.
You just named the whole world after me, and now you're telling me to go fuck myself.
What are you driveling about?
I don't know. Some private message you sent me the other day. The world of
our private messages are between you and me, Steve. And
well, not now. I didn't read it on the air. I just mentioned it.
I didn't tell you. I didn't tell Chris what you said about him.
Oh well, don't.
Yeah, I'm a prick, so I'm well aware.
Yeah.
Anywho.
No, you said you were a nice guy that helped out at homeless shelters.
No, I'm not. Anywho. To give a little backstory on the fairies for those people who are not in the know, this comes from www.britannica.com.
Wow, you took a step up, not Wikipedia this time.
No, I went to Britannica. Oh, don't worry, Wiki's coming in here. Fairies are mythical beings of folklore and romance, usually having magic powers and dwelling on Earth in close relationship with humans. They can appear as a dwarf, having green clothes and hair, living underground or in stone heaps, and characteristically exercising magic powers to benevolent ends. As a diminutive sprite, commonly in the shape of a delicate, beautiful, ageless, winged woman dressed in diaphanous white clothing.
With a killer rack.
Yeah, always with a great rack. Just like in comic books, they cannot draw women without a fucking huge rack.
But Tinkerbell didn't have a big rack.
She was fucking Disney. Come on now.
Yeah, but
she was like 13 years old. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, come on now. But they are they intermingle in personal human affairs mischievously. They sometimes, I guess, they're well intentioned. Other times they're kind of not so much. You of course have the jinns of the Arabic mythology, nymphs in Greek mythology. I know that Native Americans also believe in some sort of little people. And don't they
very politically correct of you, little
what
people.
Yeah,
you said little people. Very politically correct.
No, that's what they fucking call them.
Okay. Well, they've been politically correct
fucking
before.
Cracker,
was
you
cool.
Fucking honky.
Is it racist if you call me a honky because you're like we're both white?
I'm sorry. Is it me or do white people have the worst racial slurs?
We do.
Ever?
Yeah, we suck.
But anyway, don't the Icelandic people have some type of little fucking fairy people?
Sure.
Nothing. Silence.
Yeah, why not? I researched British fairy.
Yeah. That's it. That's as far as you went.
Yeah.
No leprechauns.
Well, leprechauns aren't fairies. Leprechauns are a menace and need to be wiped out.
Oh, anyhow.
But they got gold.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is interesting.
They only say they have gold.
Wait. This is interesting. Fairies are usually conceived as being characteristically beautiful or handsome and as having lives corresponding to those of human beings, though longer. They have no souls. They're soulless. They're soulless little people. And at death, they simply perish. They often carry off children, leaving changeling substitutes. And they also carry off adults to fairyland. Will you fucking let me finish, you prick?
Did you just say
which resembles pre-Christian abodes of the dead. People transported to fairyland cannot return if they eat or drink there. Fairy and human lovers may marry, though only with restrictions whose violation ends the marriage and often the life of the human. Yeah, I listened to a story today about a fairy who married a guy, and the guy was told, listen, I'll be your wife, and you can get all of my shit, which I guess she had all this cattle and all this bullshit. But if you lay a hand on me, an unwanted hand on me, then 3 times, then it's null and void, and I take everything with me, and I leave. And she bore.
So he can abuse her twice, but the third time,
it's all over. But anyway, as the story goes, he doesn't abuse her. He just like puts a hand on her wrist and says something to her to like tell her to shush, and that's the first unwanted, and as it goes through, then she winds up leaving, yada yada yada. But anyway,
so he lost all the cows in the end,
right? He lost all the bullshit. So
why does a fairy have cows in the first place?
I don't
know. They got
know.
Magic. What the hell do they need cows for?
I have no idea. I don't know. Fairy lore is particular.
To lure in human husbands.
That's true.
Can I finish?
There was silence. I was filling it.
Really? Because your fucking voice
yes.
came over me, motherfucker.
Well, there's a delay. You know there's a delay.
Right now there isn't. Anywho,
No,
listen to
not at
me.
all.
Fairy lore is particularly prevalent in Ireland, Cornwall, Wales, and Scotland. Fairies are common in literature from the Middle Ages on and appear in the writings of... Anywho.
You're reading that article the way I read the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
blah, blah, blah.
Let me finish. Blah, blah, blah.
I wanted to at least get that last little bit out. Where they were prevalent.
Blah, blah, blah bit.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah, we don't have that many fairy stories over here, do we? In the States.
Actually, there's quite a few, I guess, in Canada, from what I've heard. And like I said, the Native Americans do believe, some tribes of Native Americans do believe in little people. So, hey, I didn't do like a shit ton of research on this, obviously. But I did check out a documentary on the famous Cottingley Fairies, which, spoiler alert, wound up being a hoax, and it's been known for years. But
Well, actually, the one woman who was there, one of the girls, said that the first and second photo, all the way up until her death, she said those ones weren't fake, but the rest were.
No. It was the 5th one.
I'm just telling you what she said, or the 5th photo, whatever. 2 of the photos were real, the rest of them were fake.
Only one.
No, I just read Wikipedia.
Yeah?
Unless I read it wrong.
You read it wrong. There's only
So
one.
I was trying to sound like a fucking expert, and you blew it.
And you suck. Anywho,
Yeah.
the Cottingley Fairies, and this does come from Wiki, were a series of 5 photographs taken by Elise Wright and Francis Griffiths. And this was done like back in 1917. And by the 20s, it was all over. But this was a big fucking to-do. Like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle like backed this. There was a guy, I guess, who tried to debunk them. But they eventually came out and said that, well, maybe they were just the product of our imagination. But people noticed that the fairies resembled artwork in books, fantasy books about fairies. So it wound up coming out that it was all a hoax. And they even said that, the 4 pictures were hoaxes, but here's the thing, they both claimed to have taken the 5th photo. And they both contend that the 5th photo is real, or contended until their death that the 5th photo was real.
Well, so they hoaxed the first 4, and then got lucky on the 5th one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds...
it's like
Right.
Freeman.
Yeah, it sounds like the Freeman footage.
No. Well, see, Freeman wasn't a hoaxer, but that's another story for another show.
Oh, Steven Stroifert would fucking have words with you, son.
I don't care what Steven Stryford.
Well, we don't want to bring the Struford down on ourselves.
No,
Who,
I
by
have
the
to
way,
say he probably has more knowledge of the subject than I do.
who, by the
by
way,
far.
is a fucking closet Fortean Slip listener.
Of course he is. Everybody is.
He listens to my rants.
He's a closet Fortean Slip listener.
He
Anyhow,
loves us.
this was a bit, like I said, this was a big to-do. Fooled a lot of people for a long time. There were people who were believing this up until they finally admitted it. I can't remember what year they actually admitted it. But
In the 60s, I think they finally, the 80s, I think it said on Wikipedia, the one finally came out and said the first 4 were a hoax.
yeah, they showed an interview in the documentary that I watched earlier today, and they both said, hey, we just were having some fun.
I don't think they were intended originally for public consumption. It said that 2 years after they were taken, their aunt or mother, whoever they were staying with at the time, is the one who presented them to the public. It wasn't them. They didn't do it as a public event. They did it for themselves originally.
Right, and they still claimed to have, even though that they had said that they hoaxed them, like I said, they claimed that the 5th one was real and that they actually did have interactions with fairy folk.
So if you took those photos, obviously somebody probably, bought those photos from them to publish. I think Conan Doyle might have even, I know he used them in one of his publications, but were they getting royalties on these photos every time they were published all these years?
I have no idea.
If so, wouldn't you want to carry on the story for a while? I mean, for the rest of your life, so you get a little bit of, jingle in your pocket.
And
I mean, that makes sense to me.
I don't know that they did. I guess one could make the assumption that there was something, but who knows? They might have gotten absolutely nothing. Just the fame.
Even if it wasn't right, even if it wasn't money, the fact that these 2 young girls, 15, 16 years old, fooled the entire world for a little while, for most people, because in a time when, there was no Photoshop, obviously, and photo trickery was in its infancy, and how did these girls do it, and fool somebody like Arthur Conan Doyle.
According to
Who wrote the Sherlock Holmes books?
According to I think it was I gotta get to the top here. According to Elsie, I believe that was the one that said it in the documentary. They drew, they drew the fairies on paper, and they cut them out, and then they would put wire behind them so that they could stick them into the ground or wherever they were at. Get them wrapped up in something, I guess. I don't know. So that they could take the pictures like they were there in the air. Floating around or
they
whatever.
did a really, really good job for the technology of the day. Now, if we look at those photos today, it's obviously not real, obviously. But even today, we still can't see the wires that they used and stuff like that. So they really did a pretty fucking good job on them for what they had to work with,
Oh, it fooled the fuck out of a lot of people for a long fucking time.
Well, you gotta remember, Conan Doyle was into paranormal shit at the time, and so, he might have been a little bit of confirmation bias on his part, and that's why he got fooled. But somebody like him puts that out to the public. He was well respected and well known at the time, and so people are going to buy into it just because he said it. That kind of thing.
And he wrote a book about the whole phenomenon.
Yeah. Richard?
The girl said later on, when they were being interviewed over the hoax thing, that they never expected anyone to believe that fairies were real, but it was just like people wanted to believe the photos were real.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes back to something that we've said for a long time, or I've said anyway. I don't know if you guys follow the same line of thinking, but in a lot of these cryptozoological, paranormal, extraterrestrial groups, the people want to believe. They want to be duped. They want to fucking get a ticket to the goddamn magic show and be fooled.
When I first started in this shit, I wanted to be fooled. I didn't know it, but I wanted to believe all this shit was real, and some of it may or may not be, but I was so into it that, I'd see a video or a UFO, because I started out mostly with UFOs, but see a video and, man, that's cool, that's awesome. And then I'd want to research some more and do some more and really get into it and get into the community and talk to people and shit like that. So, yeah, that's most people, not most people, but a lot of people into this shit, they want it to be real. And I guess fairies, to some people are real, and maybe that's a good thing.
Well, of course people want to believe in magical little creatures that fly around and they're mischievous. Look at all the artwork dedicated to fairies. Look at all the people who have tattoos of fairies.
Little girls want to be fairy princesses.
You can go right down the fucking line with it. It like you mentioned before, Tinkerbell, iconic figure in the whole genre. It's embedded into our culture.
Well, we have to have some sort of fantasy. I mean, we can't, if we live in reality 100% of the time, then, we might go fucking crazy. So a little bit of fantasy, like,
I love fantasy fiction. I love fucking, like Game of Thrones, that type of shit.
It's
not,
the what if
not the
factor.
TV show, the books.
To me, it's the what if factor. That's why I get into this thing. The what if factor. What if some of these things can be real? And so it keeps you going and looking into it. And so for some people, it's fucking fairies, I guess, and unicorns.
Yeah.
No. I mean, because we all seen, all that shit. And so, I don't know. But it goes right back to what these girls said. They said they didn't expect anybody to believe any of it, but they did. And so you run with it, and that's the way all these communities work. I think a lot of the big names in a lot of the Bigfoot and UFOs, they know what they're saying is bullshit, but because somebody bought it the first time they said it, they have to keep going with it because that's what they're known for. That, it's good stuff to them. It pays their bills a lot of the time, or feeds into their ego or whatever. It doesn't matter if they're making money on it or not. So they'll carry it on, and sometimes they end up believing it themselves. So
yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I've often said that a look into these quote unquote communities, like I said, the Bigfoot communities or even the cryptozoological communities. I think Bigfoot is its own type of thing with that. The extraterrestrials,
sure is.
Extraterrestrial UFO phenomenon, ghosts. To look at the groups of people would be a very interesting documentary or study or whatever you want to call it. On one of the recent episodes, we talked about the fact that Bobcat Goldthwait wants to do a Bigfoot documentary. And I would love it if he would do it as a look, which he did allude to that he may do, a look at the communities.
I would love it.
And yeah, that would just be great. Because I've said that for a long time. It would be so entertaining.
Just show us for the insane nut jobs we really are.
Exactly. So,
well, even you, Richard, you've said many times that you really believed in a certain person or a certain subject, and ended up letting you down in the end. But
yeah, I'm just giving up with Bigfoot. It doesn't exist.
Well, I'm just saying. So all of us, at least got into this because we really believed, at the very least, in the possibility of the truthfulness of some of these things. Of course, we continually get let get let down because none of it has. Some of it's unprovable. We talked about ghosts before the show.
Now, Richard. Some people like getting fucked in the ass.
Yeah, well, that's good for them, but I mean being fucked in the ass with like a horse with barbed wire wrapped around its dick.
Wow.
That would be... I'm sure some people would like that, too.
Oh, well,
I'm sure there's that one guy.
It's the first thing you hear. Let it go, Steve. It's the first thing you hear when you come into the Bigfoot community. Why should I believe in Bigfoot? Oh, well, there's tons of evidence. Well, there's not tons of evidence. There's tons of people that say there's loads of evidence, but there isn't any evidence.
And it's the same with,
UFOs,
ghosts,
fairies.
I'm not saying those things aren't, well, fairies aren't real, but most of the other things, could be, possibly, So that's
time we united behind the only cryptid that actually, the chupacabra.
See, here I thought you were going to go thylacine, but you pulled a fast one there, Richard.
The thylacine I've never counted as a cryptid.
Well, it technically is because...
But it actually existed.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Cryptids can have existed at one time, but we don't know that they exist now.
Well,
the definition of cryptids.
Two cryptids that might exist. The thylacine and the chupacabra.
There you go.
Wait a minute. You're all in with the chupacabra?
Yeah, I'm going all in. I'm a chupacabra guy now.
Wow.
I'm going to go join the forums and start calling chupacabra hunter cunts.
Richard doesn't believe in anything. He just believes in calling people cunt. That's all he cares about.
Wait a minute. Wait. Are you going to... Is this a diversification of your blog?
Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I think you should. I really think you should. Why not get the whole Fortean community pissed off at you?
Yeah. Go all in.
Why not?
People just go after you. It's great.
I mean, that's kind of what we've done.
I had an argument with a woman in a UFO community the other night that she was claiming that aliens are half human, half demon hybrids. And I was just like, wow. I suddenly feel better about the Bigfoot community.
There's a guy I know, literally, I've spoken with on Facebook. I don't know him personally. I mean, I've never met him. He actually lives not that far from me. He believes he's an Anunnaki.
Wow. That is a bold statement.
He believes it, though. I'll give you his name after. I don't want to bring him out on the show.
I could one up you on this. I know a guy in Canada that thinks he's a Nephilim. Yeah.
Angels and Anunnaki. Well, according to ancient alien theorists, they're the same.
You didn't do the voice. Do the voice. According to ancient alien theorists,
what am I, a fucking trained seal?
Yeah. When it comes to ancient aliens.
Steve, if you've got the Anunnaki and the Nephilim, it's got to be ancient aliens.
We got to get Childress on the show.
That'd be so great. I'd love it. Like, I'm not, like, I don't hate the fucking guy. Just like Sukalos, I don't fucking hate that guy. I think they're great. I don't totally agree with all their bullshit, but they're entertaining as hell.
I don't think they believe all their bullshit. I think it's just good for television show. Yeah, Sukalos is a cool guy, actually, from what I understand.
Without his hair, he loses all his appeal.
Well, we'll put a picture of him on the screen.
That might work.
Uh-huh.
All right, I like the way you think, Steve.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Anywho, Steve, you got any news?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, enough of you fucking singing the goddamn music.
I can't help it.
Just
I
stop
genuinely
it.
Can't
Just
help it.
fucking stop it.
It's an impulse. I can't stop it. I'm sorry.
From theinquisitor.com. A teenager, or actually, now see the headline says a 4-year-old girl, but this one says, oh, I get it now. I should probably pre-read the story so I don't get confused.
Maybe.
It's not going to happen. A teenager has reported that she was abducted by 4 gray aliens as she slept in bed when she was only 4 years old. See, that's where the
teenagers as well. Did they put her on YouTube?
I don't know yet. We'll have to finish the story.
Are you privy?
She says that,
wait a minute. Are you privy to the fucking alien YouTube?
Well, just maybe.
Well, wouldn't they use the same YouTube we use? Or do they have their own?
No, they fucking use the galactic YouTube.
Yeah.
If you put galactic in front of something, it sounds way more important and stuff.
That's right. And stuff.
She says the memories of that frightful incident have haunted her since it happened in 2004, and that she has not
just
been
like
able
the
to
first
recover
time
from the trauma.
Every woman sees Steve's penis.
Yeah, they are amazed,
horrified.
I should direct you. I would be too, because
that's something that people don't really know about Steve. He's like a completely awkward, really tall guy. Just a huge hog on him.
Mm-hmm. I can direct you to proof, but I won't.
10 foot long.
It's not 10 foot long. Come on, I wouldn't be able to fucking walk. It's 9 foot.
It's coiled up.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
It's like an anaconda. Is what it is.
Enough.
According to the 16-year-old alien abductee, in a report submitted to the Mutual UFO Network and filed as case number, in case anybody wants to look it up, 77510.
Chris, you opened Pandora's box. You can't get all...
He cut out again. Good.
You keep cutting out, motherfucker, so go screw.
Lame.
No, see, I just fucking acted like, there's a situation. You guys had to blow it out of proportion to fucking 9 feet. Like, Jesus Christ, Godzilla cock.
You opened the door, Chris. You opened the door.
Hey, I'm basking in the glory of Godzilla cock. I like that.
I'm sure you are.
Hashtag Godzilla cock.
I will. No, I won't. The abductee was only 4 years old at the time.
You'll Photoshop it.
She was sleeping in a bed next to her father there's no actual photographic proof. I'm not gonna do that.
Somebody fucking Photoshop Godzilla in fucking Steve's crotch. Hashtag Godzilla cock.
Yeah, we're making that happen. Trend it.
Nice. Anyway, I'm lost now. A bright line.
Steve's cock is the shape of a big fucking lizard that breathes fire and lightning.
That's what she
fights said. Mothra.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, she was 4. She got abducted by aliens. And she's full of bullshit.
Just a fucking story.
My computer froze, so I can't. It's stupid. I hate websites. I hate websites that use that fucking shockwave bullshit. In this day and age, why do they still need to use that crap that crashes all the time? That's what I want to know.
I'm sorry.
It's not the shockwave. It's all the porn you've got open as well.
It is not the porn that I don't have open.
Hashtag Godzilla cock.
I'm going to say it again. I don't need porn. I've got the love of a beautiful woman. So, hashtag cock. Also from the Inquisitor, I guess there was a UFO above Cincinnati recently. A large UFO was spotted above Cincinnati. The flying saucer, which hasn't been used as a term for describing a UFO since the 1950s, was being followed by military helicopters as it was seen shooting through the sky. Nobody says flying saucer.
saucer.
But it's not a saucer.
It's a UFO, Steve.
It wasn't even a saucer. The Kenneth Arnold sighting was the first modern, for what started the wave of UFO sightings. It wasn't even shaped like a saucer.
Flying saucer.
Well, you're way behind the times. It's
used since the 1950s.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, when people in Cincinnati gazed into the sky and noticed a large UFO hovering, the people in the city were not the only folks interested. Shortly after the UFO made its way through the city, military helicopters came flying through on the same path, possibly wanting to make contact with the flying saucer. A man from Covington, Kentucky, said he was awakened at 3 a.m.
Hello,
to the sound of
dum-dums.
helicopters filling the sky. When he looked into the sky, he was able to see that the military helicopters were after the UFO. The man who decided to remain anonymous, of course, was able to record the sighting and even capture the UFO for a brief moment. During his filming, he made the comment that the UFO was nearly 10 times larger than the military helicopters. That big fucking UFO. Oh,
Flying saucer, Steve.
The government has been asked
fucking
for comment.
flying saucer. Get it right.
The government and military have been asked for a comment, and of course, they've been hush hush. They
refer them to Project Blue Book.
That's in fact, the article says Wright-Patterson Air Force Base housed a project that documented alleged UFO sightings from
Flying saucer
1947 to 1969. They ask you if you want to go find out, take a look at that shit. I have all the Project Blue book stuff. I have every report. It's pretty cool,
including all the classified stuff.
I wish I had the classified stuff, but I don't.
It's in Area 51.
Project Blue Book was based at Wright-Patterson, so I would assume it's
That's what
actually
they want
there.
you to think.
Wright-Patterson's only about an hour drive from here. I should go there and knock on the door and ask for the classified documents. You think it'll work?
Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Best story, and this is a very and I am proud to be able to bring this story tonight. This is the best story of the week.
Oh,
it's from the
shut
Washington
the fuck up.
It's the best story of the week. I always save the best for last. It's asking, is Bigfoot just an upright walking bear? And they ask the experts. And I'm going to skip the first expert because he's a douchebag. But
Wait. That doesn't help the story.
Well, because he says it's not a bear, it's a Bigfoot. It's always a Bigfoot. Because he always finds Bigfoot evidence and stuff like
Who's the expert?
Who would that be?
Well, I said douchebag. He might not be a douchebag.
Oh,
No,
look at you backpedaling.
You're flip-flopping.
Well, Matt Moneymaker, I think, is what the article says.
You think?
Anyway,
wait. You think or it does?
It does.
Yeah, thank you.
I like the second expert much better. Can I just go straight to the second expert?
Can you just read
They
the...
asked
read,
if-
Say Kelly Shaw.
can you
I
just
swear to
read
God.
the fucking article?
As we reported last week, a large, dark, and very hairy beast has been seen walking on its hind legs through New Jersey neighborhoods. Yeah. Anyway, it turned out to be a bear. So
Okay.
then they asked Matt Moneymaker. Matt Moneymaker said, Bigfoots are real. He says, I'm trying to find the article here. I'm trying to find the part in the article where he talks about it. Matt Moneymaker says, could this explain Bigfoot sightings, a bear walking on its hind legs? And the answer is no, not even a little bit. The BFRO has collected thousands of Bigfoot-related observations over the years, In not one of those observations was it noted that the witness spotted a figure they thought was a Bigfoot, but it turned out to be a bear walking on its hind legs for an extended period. This would happen quite a bit if it explained even a fraction of Bigfoot sightings. On the other hand, it is quite common for witnesses to initially think an upright furry figure is a bear on hind legs until a car gets closer and they realize it's actually an ape-like figure or a Bigfoot. I'm skipping. Next expert.
Wait, was that rough?
No, but I don't like to quote Matt Moneymaker. I'm just not a big fan.
I don't either, but it's part of the story.
Because,
you called him a douchebag.
In the nicest sense of the term.
The nicest sense.
Hey, what does a douche...
Cunt, but I mean
what does a douche... What does a douche do? It goes places I like to be. Right? So it could be an endearing term. Second expert.
Sit in that one.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Richard beat me to it.
Drum roll, please. Yeah, I know. The second expert that they asked is also named Matt. In fact, it's our very own Matt Knapp in the Washington Post. Man, that's big shit right there. Washington Post quoting Matt Knapp.
Yeah, he is a big shit.
Yeah. Matt Knapp, a Bigfoot
never comes on the show anymore.
I think this Washington Post thing went to his head, is what I think.
That's what it is. He's fucking big man Matt Knapp now.
Matt Knapp, a Bigfoot researcher who is co-editor of the website Bigfoot Evidence, doesn't mention our show in this article, by the way, which calls itself the world's only 24/7 Bigfoot news blog, said people who claim to see a Bigfoot generally describe it in the same way. He said the characteristics are an extremely large hair-covered animal, or
if
a large animal.
If they'd have known he was part of the Fortean Slip, they wouldn't have had him in that article.
They sure as hell wouldn't have called him an expert. It's a human-like animal, human-like with long arms, hands, long fingers, feet similar to humans, and a flat face, up to 10 feet tall, weighing several hundred pounds, no obvious ears, and broad shoulders. On the other hand, a bear's physical attributes, Knapp said, would be a protruding snout, ears on the top of their head, and no clear shoulders when standing. Skeptics will often try to explain away Bigfoot sightings as misidentification of bears, which certainly in some cases they may be. See, Matt's taking the right approach here. May be sometimes. But in general, bears and Bigfoot look like nothing like one another, according to eyewitness descriptions. Knapp.
It would explain the bear squatch sightings.
The bear squatch sightings, or the man bear pig sightings. Knapp actually wrote this in an email. They say Knapp, but I'm going to call him Matt. Matt wrote this in an email because that's how they interviewed him. Bigfoot or Sasquatch seem to be primates based on their physical description. He continues, another thing to keep in mind is that from time to time, we are children. We are shown images of bears. It is from that time. Oh, never mind. I misquoted Matt Knapp. Am I going to hell now?
Yes.
Yes, Bigfoot hell.
Another thing to keep in mind is that from the time we are children,
it's in Bigfoot hell, people claim to have seen you, but no one can really find you. You're all alone.
That's okay. If the other people in Bigfoot hell are Bigfoot researchers, I'll be all right being alone.
No. You're
just saying.
You don't get to commingle with them.
Good.
Oh, okay.
That's hell Bigfoot heaven.
Trapped in a room with Ryan Redding, Kelly Shaw, Mark Parra, and Matthew Johnson for all eternity. And they're all sharing their research with you.
Ryan, is it Redding or Reading? I still don't know, and he hasn't clarified it for me. But he has been sending me all his research lately, and I've given him my opinions on some of it.
Oh yeah, the internet's ready for the Ryan Redding revolution. The Rye-volution.
Is it really?
Anyway, so
hashtagging that.
Matt says we've been shown images of bears all our lives, teddy bears, books, cartoons, television shows, so we know what they look like. And I'm not going to quote the rest, but he basically says, because we know what a bear looks like, we instantly recognize it. And when we see something like a Bigfoot, we don't. And so that's why most of the time Bigfoots aren't confused with bears.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Matt's a very smart man. He's right about that. I mean, we did
come back to the show.
Mm-hmm. We did have this discussion on the show, and I made the comment that sometimes some of these maybe perhaps dogman sightings were bears that walked on two hind legs, because it happens more often than people think, as far as bears doing that.
No, I've been completely beaten up on the comment section of the YouTube channel and told that bears do not walk upright like that. They don't walk around.
There's plenty of YouTube videos that prove them wrong.
They have to be trained to do it.
No training at all. They're wild bears that do it.
No, really, Steve, I kind of knew that.
Well, I know you did, but I'm. This is for the listeners or listener, as the case may be.
Oh, at this point, fuck them.
There's nobody left.
Nobody stays this long, Steve.
They don't care about the news. I mean, this is the most informative news
Frank Smith
on the internet.
And like a couple other people.
Jay Adams Edwards, that girl.
That girl.
I don't know her name. She always comments, "I'm sorry, I will learn it for next show and apologize."
Mary? You talking about Mary?
No.
I know you're not talking about Mary. Who thinks you are the British Matt Knapp, which is like a high compliment.
It was the highest compliment I've ever been given, but a deadly insult to Matt Knapp.
I can't argue with that logic. Anyway, fellas, that is the news.
Good.
For this evening.
Fucking get me.
Thank God it's
Mick
over. That was horrible.
fucking West.
Yeah, a little bit of enthusiasm this time.
Really?
See, you guys think I give up on shit, but you gotta give it some time. Let it come. Let it come back around.
I think, you made that one sound like you almost kind of wanted him.
Like sexually?
No. To be a guest on the show or something.
Oh, yeah. That I do.
Because I know you're straight.
The other one, I'm not sure. This has been episode 121 of the Fortean Slip. If you like this shit, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe, share this shit around. Go to theforteanslip.com or theforteanslip.blogspot.com. Check out Richard's blog. It's in the fucking description of the video on YouTube. Check out Matt Knapp at bigfootcrossroads.com and youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. And as always, check out Fred Dunn, youtube.com/Dred Funn and dredfunn.com. #GodzillaCock. See ya!